If you enjoyed this audiobook, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Sharing it with your friends and family helps spread knowledge, and when we help others grow, we grow too. Thank you so much for listening. Let's dive into the book. Chapter 1, Money Mindset Makeover. Part 1, The Stories We Tell About Money. Money whispers stories to us long before we ever earn our first dollar. These tales flow from grandparents counting coins at the kitchen table, from advertisements promising happiness through spending, from neighbors hiding financial struggles behind closed doors. Without realizing it, we absorb beliefs like rich people are greedy or talking about money is rude, shaping every financial choice we make. This section invites you to uncover these hidden narratives. By understanding where your money beliefs originated, you gain power to rewrite them. Real transformation starts when we question why we avoid investing, feel guilty about spending, or assume wealth is unattainable. What money story has been silently guiding your decisions? Consider Leo, who watched his immigrant parents work 3 jobs while repeating, "Safe jobs are the only real security." This imprinted a deep fear of risk. Though Leo earned well, he kept savings in low-interest accounts for decades, missing stock market growth. His story equated safety with stagnation. Contrast this with Amara, raised hearing, "Money corrupts." She subconsciously sabotaged career advancements, declining raises to avoid becoming like those greedy executives. Both inherited narratives that limited their financial potential. These stories operate like invisible scripts. Research shows children form core money beliefs by age 7. If you heard, "we can't afford that" during childhood, you might now avoid necessary expenses like dental work or retirement planning. If money arguments filled your home, you may equate finances with conflict. Cultural narratives add layers. Some communities prioritize collective support over individual wealth building, while others view debt as shameful. A practical step: trace one money habit back to its origin. For example, if you overstock pantry items, ask, "Did your family experience food insecurity?" This awareness creates space for change. Take Rosa, who realized her shop therapy habit started when her depressed mother rewarded her with toys. By linking emotional spending to childhood patterns, Rosa created a 24-hour purchase delay rule. Notice when societal stories clash with your reality. Media often portrays wealth as luxury cars and mansions, yet studies of actual millionaires reveal most live in modest homes and drive used cars. If your mental image of wealth feels unattainable, how might that discourage saving? Changing narratives begins with conscious observation. For a week, jot down money-related thoughts. Investing is gambling. I don't deserve this bonus. Asking for a raise is pushy. Then ask, what evidence supports this? Whose voice is this? What alternative story could serve me better? Eduardo challenged his "debt is always bad" belief after learning low-interest mortgages enabled wealth building through property appreciation. Your money story isn't permanent. Like editing a draft, you retain valuable themes, perhaps frugality or generosity, while revising limiting plot points. Which inherited belief no longer fits who you are becoming? Part 2. Breaking free from limiting beliefs. Many people feel stuck in their financial lives because of old, unexamined thoughts. These hidden ideas like, "I'll never understand investing" or "rich people are different from me" act like roadblocks, silently preventing progress. This section offers clear ways to spot and replace those self-sabotaging beliefs. You'll see how others did it and learn simple methods to build real confidence in handling money. The shift starts in your mind, and the results can transform your bank account and your future. Consider how often you've thought, "I'm just not a money person." Or maybe, "Investing is too complicated for someone like me." These aren't facts, they're learned reactions. Take Carlos, a mechanic who inherited the idea that debt means failure. He avoided all loans, even low-interest ones that could have expanded his business. This belief kept his income stagnant for years. What belief about money makes you feel resigned or hopeless? The first step is catching these thoughts as they happen. Keep a small notebook for a week. Write down every money-related doubt or negative assumption. When you notice one, pause. Ask, "Is this really true? What proof do I have?" Carlos did this and realized his fear of debt came from watching his parents struggle with high-interest credit cards, not business loans. He then asked, "What if some debt can build value?" This simple question opened new paths. Next, reframe the belief into something useful. Change "I always mess up with money" to "I'm learning better money skills every day." Swap "wealth is for others" with "I can create my own security." Lena, a teacher, told herself, "People like me don't build wealth." She reframed it to "I can start small and grow." She began saving just $20 a week. Seeing that money accumulate built her confidence. Within a year, she opened a low-cost index fund. What old belief could you reframe right now? Action cures doubt. Start with tiny, manageable steps that prove your new belief. If you think investing is risky, begin by researching one reliable mutual fund. If you feel "I don't earn enough to save," set aside $5 daily in a jar. Lena's first investment felt scary, but watching it grow slowly shifted her mindset. She saw herself as capable. These small wins rewire your brain. Ben, a freelance designer, believed money always disappears. He started tracking every dollar spent for a month. To his surprise, he found $200 wasted on unused subscriptions and impulse snacks. Redirecting that money into savings showed him he could control his finances. His new belief became, "I choose where my money goes." This led him to automate savings, ensuring consistency. How could a small experiment challenge your biggest money fear? Remember Eduardo from the last section? He questioned his "all debt is bad" story. Like him, you can keep helpful parts of your money story, like valuing hard work while dropping what holds you back. Once beliefs shift, daily actions become easier. Next, we'll explore how tiny habits create lasting wealth. Belief shapes reality. Carlos now uses strategic loans to upgrade his tools, boosting his income. Lena's investments grow steadily. Ben sleeps better knowing he has savings. They all started by changing one thought. What belief will you replace today to build the financial future you deserve? Part 3. The Power of Small Habits. Imagine your financial future as a garden. Just as a single seed nurtured daily grows into a strong tree, small money habits practiced consistently blossom into lasting wealth. This part shows how tiny, almost effortless actions can transform your finances. You'll discover practical ways to build routines that stick, using the science of habit formation. We'll explore how ordinary people like Priya and Omar reshaped their financial lives not by drastic changes but by simple daily steps. Ready to learn how a few minutes each day can lead to a lifetime of security and freedom? Let's begin. Changing your money beliefs, as we discussed earlier, is vital, but beliefs alone don't build wealth. They need daily actions to take root. Consider how compound interest works. Small amounts grow massively over time. Your habits work the same way. Saving $3 daily seems insignificant, yet it becomes $1,095 in a year. Invested wisely, that could double in a decade. What tiny action could you start today that would feel effortless? Take Priya, a graphic designer. She felt overwhelmed by saving until she tried habit stacking. Every morning after brewing coffee, she transferred $2 to savings. This took 10 seconds. In 6 months, she barely noticed the ritual, but her emergency fund grew. When her laptop broke, she avoided debt by using that cash. Priya's breakthrough wasn't willpower, it was linking a new habit to an automatic one. Breaking unhelpful patterns follows the same principle. Omar, a teacher, spent $15 daily on takeout lunches. Instead of quitting cold turkey, he replaced one lunch per week with a homemade meal. The $15 saved went into a future travel jar. Within months, he was packing lunch 4 days a week without strain. His secret? Focusing on addition, not deprivation. What small expense could you redirect toward a goal this week? Automation turns habits into silent allies. Lena, from our earlier story, set up automatic transfers the day after payday. Just $20 weekly flowed into her investment account. She forgot about it until 5 years later she had $5,200 plus growth. Systems like this work because they remove decision fatigue. As one expert notes, wealth is often hidden in the unused minutes of our routines. Common challenges? Starting too big. If tracking every expense feels daunting, begin with one category like dining out for just 1 week. Notice patterns without judgment. Did seeing that $100 weekly coffee total surprise you? Awareness alone shifts behavior. Another hurdle is inconsistency. Miss a day? Reset immediately. Perfection isn't the goal. Persistence is. Consider Kenji, who reviewed his financial goals every Sunday during breakfast. This 5-minute habit kept him focused. When tempted by impulsive buys, he'd ask, Does this align with my target? That pause saved him thousands yearly. His journey proves that clarity compounds faster than cash. What regular check-in could keep your priorities front of center? These stories highlight a universal truth. Monumental change comes from microscopic shifts. Whether it's rounding up purchases to save spare change or reading one finance article weekly, the key is repetition. Your beliefs set the direction. Your habits build the path. As these routines solidify, you'll naturally begin to question society's definitions of success, which leads perfectly into our next exploration of what wealth truly means to you. Part 4. Redefining wealth in your own words. Society often paints wealth with a broad brush. Luxury cars, oversized homes, exotic vacations. But what if real riches look completely different? This section helps you discover your unique definition of financial well-being. We'll explore how aligning money with personal values creates lasting fulfillment, moving beyond cookie-cutter ideals. You'll learn practical methods to clarify what rich truly means in your daily life, whether it's more family time, creative freedom, or helping others. These insights transform financial planning from number crunching into life design. Consider Lena, a marketing director earning 6 figures. She felt trapped despite her salary, working 70-hour weeks to maintain a lifestyle that impressed strangers. During a sabbatical, she realized her dream wasn't a bigger house, but teaching art to children. By downsizing her apartment and switching to part-time consulting, she cut expenses by 40% while gaining time for volunteer work. Her bank balance decreased, but her sense of purpose soared. What trade-offs would energize your life? Research shows that once basic needs are met, additional income contributes little to happiness. The key is intentionality. Try this exercise. List 5 moments when you felt truly content. What made them meaningful? For Carlos, a retired mechanic, his answers included fixing my neighbor's bike for free and watching the sunrise with my granddaughter. He now measures wealth in community impact and slow mornings, not his pension balance. This clarity helps him decline draining freelance jobs, preserving time for what matters. Financial plans often fail because they ignore emotional needs. Imagine 2 neighbors. Ben prioritizes travel, saving automatically for quarterly trips to national parks. Anita values security, directing surplus income into her emergency fund. Both feel wealthy because their money aligns with their definitions. Adventure for Ben, peace for Anita. What 3 words would define your ideal financial state? Case studies reveal patterns. When Priya defined wealth as freedom to create, she negotiated remote workdays to paint. Tom, who equated wealth with legacy, started micro-investing in his niece's education fund. Notice how neither focused on net worth. Instead, they linked money to tangible life experiences. Small adjustments followed. Priya canceled unused subscriptions to fund art supplies. Tom packed lunches to boost donations. Common pitfalls emerge when we outsource our definition. Social media comparisons made Keith feel behind, triggering impulsive stock trades that backfired. After journaling, he admitted his core desire was learning, not competing. Now he invests in courses instead of speculative assets, feeling richer through growth. How might external pressures be distorting your financial compass? Practical steps solidify this shift. First, write your wealth vision in 1 sentence. Wealth means working 4 days a week to coach soccer. Next, audit spending. Does your grocery budget reflect health values, or are you overspending on convenience? Finally, create a wealth indicator, a non-monetary metric like hours spent outdoors weekly. Review it monthly. True financial well-being emerges when money amplifies your values, not when you chase arbitrary milestones. By defining wealth on your terms, every dollar becomes a tool to build a life that resonates deeply, proving that the richest people aren't those with the most, but those with enough of what matters. Chapter 2. Building your financial foundation. Part 1. Knowing where you stand. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest with a map in your hand. Before taking your first step, you'd mark your current location. That's exactly what we'll do with your finances today. This isn't about judgment or regret. It's about gathering coordinates for your journey. Like a doctor checking vital signs before treatment, we'll measure your financial pulse through 3 simple tools: your net worth snapshot, income expense balance sheet, and spending patterns. By the end, you'll have clear markers to navigate toward financial security using methods proven by everyday investors. Let's begin with your personal financial map. Your net worth is the foundation, everything you own minus everything you owe. Picture Marco, a bakery owner. He listed his assets: savings account, $5,000, car value, $1,000, and bakery equipment, $7,000. Then his debts: credit card balance, $2,000, and small business loan, $15,000. Subtracting debts from assets, his net worth was $3,000. This number isn't good or bad, it's a starting point. What items would appear on your personal balance sheet if you made one today? Next, track income versus expenses for 1 month. Layla, a freelance writer, recorded every dollar earned from clients alongside every expense. Rent, groceries, even that $4 morning coffee. She discovered she spent $300 monthly on subscription services she rarely used. Like Layla, you might find surprises. Use a notebook, app, or spreadsheet. No perfection needed. The goal is awareness, not criticism. If your expenses exceed income, you've identified a leak. If there's surplus, you've found potential savings fuel. Spending patterns reveal unconscious habits. Take Kenji, an engineer who felt he lived frugally. After tracking expenses, he noticed $250 monthly on impulse buys at convenience stores. This latte factor, small recurring spends that add up, is common. Studies show most people underestimate daily expenses by 20 to 30%. Where might your money be slipping away unnoticed? Practical framework. 1. Calculate net worth. Assets, debts. 2. Track 30 days of income expenses. Circle top 3 spending categories. 4. Compare income versus expenses. Ava, a teacher, did this exercise and found her fixed expenses, rent, utilities, were reasonable, but flexible spending, dining, hobbies, consumed 40% of her income. She set one goal: reduce flexible spending by 10% next month. Small adjustments created breathing room. Remember, financial giants like Warren Buffett started by knowing their numbers. Your net worth today is simply a coordinate, not your destination. Like Marco seeing his $3,000 net worth as motivation to accelerate loan payments, or Layla canceling unused subscriptions to fund her emergency savings, this clarity fuels progress. Armed with your financial coordinates, you're ready to chart the next phase of your journey. Part 2. The art of budgeting without boredom. Budgeting often feels like a straitjacket for your spending, but it's truly the opposite. A tool that hands you the reins. Imagine directing your money toward what matters most instead of wondering where it vanished. This section reveals how to build a budget that bends to your life, not breaks it. You'll discover flexible methods used by millions, hear how ordinary people turn stress into serenity, and learn to tackle real-world hurdles like unpredictable paychecks or surprise bills. The goal? Transform budgeting from a chore into a choice that fuels your dreams. Take the 50-30-20 approach. Simple, visual, and adaptable. Half your income covers essentials like rent and groceries. 30% fuels joys, whether it's hiking gear or concert tickets. The remaining 20 builds your future through savings or debt paydown. Elijah, a barista, sketched this on a napkin. He realized his daily coffee runs consumed 15% of his wants budget. By brewing at home 3 days a week, he freed up cash for guitar lessons without sacrifice. What small tweak could amplify your happiness per dollar? For tactile learners, the envelope system works wonders. Label envelopes for categories like groceries or fun, then stash the allotted cash inside. Once an envelope empties, spending stops there until next month. Priya, a freelance designer with irregular income, uses this. In lean months, she funds envelopes proportionally. When a big project pays, she fills emergency fund first. This tactile method stopped her overdraft fees cold. How might physically handling money shift your relationship with impulse buys? Life's surprises needn't wreck your plan. Build a buffer category, even $20 monthly for unplanned costs. When Omar's car tire blew, his buffer covered half, so he didn't touch rent money. For variable incomes, calculate your baseline. Average your 3 lowest earning months. Budget to that level, then save windfalls. Lena, a seasonal gardener, does this. Her summer surplus funds winter envelopes, easing off-season anxiety. Automation is your stealth ally. Set up automatic transfers to savings on payday. Treat this like a non-negotiable bill, just like electricity. Raj did this with 5% of his paycheck. In 2 years, he amassed a $3,000 repair fund without noticing. What single category could you automate today? Budgeting thrives on iteration, not perfection. Review spending weekly for 2 minutes. Apps like Mint simplify this. Spot a pattern? Adjust. When Zoe's pet needed medication, she reduced her dining budget temporarily. Her budget bent but didn't break. Remember Warren Buffett's insight? Don't save what's left after spending. Spend what's left after saving. Your budget is clay, not concrete. Shape it, reshape it, and watch financial stress fade. Part 3. The villain and the teacher. Debt often feels like a heavy chain holding you back from financial freedom. Yet within its weight lies unexpected lessons. This section explores how debt can transform from a relentless villain into a wise teacher. You'll discover practical methods to tackle high-interest balances, understand the emotional patterns that keep debt cycles spinning, and hear true stories of ordinary people who turned crushing obligations into stepping stones. By reframing debt as a classroom for discipline and clarity, you'll gain tools to reduce stress and build lasting financial resilience, starting today. Elena, a graphic designer, felt her $18,000 credit card debt like physical pressure. Every month, high-interest charges swallowed her payments, making progress seem impossible. This anxiety is common. Debt teaches harsh lessons about consequences. Money borrowed today shrinks tomorrow's choices. Consider your own debts. What feelings arise when you see those balances? Relief comes from action, not avoidance. Elena started by listing every debt, amount, interest rate, minimum payment. Seeing the full picture reduced her panic. She chose one small balance to eliminate first, freeing up cash to attack the next. Not all debt works the same. High-interest credit cards or payday loans grow rapidly, acting like financial quicksand. Compare that to a fixed-rate mortgage, where payments build equity over time. The key difference? Cost versus benefit. Ask yourself, does this debt help me build value or just drain my resources? Car loans often fall in between, useful for reliable transport, but costly if terms stretch too long. Marcus, a nurse, had $22,000 in auto financing at 11% interest. By selling the car and buying a cheaper used model with cash, he freed $400 monthly toward medical school loans. Practical strategies make debt manageable. 2 proven approaches. Target either your smallest balance first, creating quick momentum, or your highest interest rate, saving more long-term. Elena used the first method. She paid minimums on larger debts while throwing every spare dollar at a $900 store card. When it vanished in 6 weeks, her confidence surged. She redirected that payment plus extra funds toward a $2,000 credit card. Small victories build resilience. What single debt could you focus on if you paused other extra payments? Debt also reveals spending habits. Lena, a cafe manager, tracked 3 months of purchases and realized 30% of her takeout meals were charged to cards. She began cooking bulk meals on Sundays, saving $200 monthly. That cash became her debt knife, slicing balances faster. Automation helps too. Set up automatic transfers to debt accounts right after payday, treating them like rent. This builds discipline, turning intention into habit. Stories inspire change. Take Omar, who paid off $48,000 in student loans in 4 years. His secret? Side income from tutoring went entirely to loans. He also negotiated lower interest rates by calling lenders directly. Every $50 saved on interest accelerated his progress. Today, he invests that same money monthly. How might your skills generate extra debt-fighting cash? View debt as a mirror, reflecting what truly matters to you. It forces honest choices, daily lattes or long-term freedom. By facing it squarely, you develop lifelong skills, prioritization, consistency, and adaptability. These strengths extend far beyond money, shaping a more intentional life. As balances shrink, so does stress, making room for growth. Next, we'll explore how an emergency fund acts as your financial safety net, preventing new debt when surprises arise. Part 4. The Emergency Fund Adventure. Life rarely follows a script. A sudden car breakdown, an unexpected medical bill, or a job loss can derail even the best financial plans without warning. This section reveals how an emergency fund transforms these crises from catastrophes into manageable bumps in the road. You'll discover practical methods to build this financial cushion, starting with just spare change, and learn real stories of how it prevented debt and brought peace. By the end, you'll have clear steps to create your own safety net, turning anxiety into confidence $1 at a time. Imagine Priya, a graphic designer who loved her work but lived paycheck to paycheck. When her laptop died unexpectedly, she faced a $900 repair bill. With no savings, she used a high-interest credit card, trapping herself in debt. Contrast this with Leo, a teacher who set aside $50 monthly. When his refrigerator broke, he paid cash and avoided debt entirely. What small expense could you redirect today to avoid Priya's stress? An emergency fund isn't about stockpiling thousands overnight. It's your financial shock absorber. Start small. Aim for $500 initially. This covers minor surprises like flat tires or dental copays. Automate transfers of even $20 weekly into a separate savings account. High-yield options earn extra interest while keeping funds accessible. Watch how $5 daily coffees add up to $150 monthly. Redirecting half builds $900 yearly. Carlos, a freelance photographer, struggled with irregular income. He began rounding down his earnings, depositing $780 instead of $800 from a gig. This painless trick built $1,000 in 5 months. When his camera lens cracked, he replaced it without stress. How might invisible savings like this work for you? Next, grow your fund to cover 3 to 6 months of essentials like rent, groceries, and utilities. Calculate this by tracking average monthly spending for 3 months. For example, if essentials total $2,000 monthly, target $6,000 to $12,000. Break this into phases. Celebrate hitting $1,000 before pursuing the full amount. Motivation thrives on visibility. Jasmine kept a progress chart on her fridge, coloring a section for every $100 saved. Seeing her safety net grow kept her committed. When her cat needed urgent surgery, she handled the $1,200 bill calmly. What visual reminder could keep you on track? Unexpected opportunities also boost savings. Tax refunds, bonuses, or sold items can jumpstart your fund. Elena used a $300 work bonus to seed hers, then added $25 weekly. Within a year, she covered a sudden trip to her sick mother without debt. Ultimately, this fund isn't money sitting idle. It's buying freedom. It stops emergencies from forcing bad decisions, like high-interest loans or missed bills. As your cushion grows, so does your ability to invest or pursue goals. What dream could you chase if unexpected costs stopped derailing you? Chapter 3, Growing Your Wealth. Simply Part 1, Investing Made Uncomplicated. Many people imagine investing as a high-stakes game reserved for experts or the wealthy, leaving them feeling excluded. This section breaks down those walls. We'll strip away the complexity, showing how core investing principles work in everyday life. You'll discover that building wealth isn't about predicting markets perfectly, but about understanding simple ideas like balancing risk and reward, spreading your bets wisely, and starting sooner rather than later. We'll address common worries head-on and show practical, accessible steps anyone can take to begin their journey confidently. Think of Priya, a graphic designer who thought investing required large sums or special knowledge. She started by putting aside just $50 each month into a low-cost fund that held tiny pieces of thousands of companies. This simple act, regular saving combined with broad ownership, embodies core investing principles. Risk, the chance your investment might lose value, is always present. But consider this. What's the risk of not investing and seeing your savings slowly lose buying power to inflation? The potential reward, your money growing over time, balances that risk. How comfortable would you feel if your $500 investment dropped to $400 temporarily? Your honest answer helps define your personal risk tolerance. Diversification is your shield against putting too much faith in one place. Imagine Ben, who inherited $10,000. If he used it all to buy shares in the tech company he worked for, he'd face huge risk. His savings and his job rely on that single company. Instead, he spread his money, some in a fund tracking the whole stock market, some in government bonds, loans to the government, and a small amount kept in cash. This mix helps cushion the blow when one part struggles. Have you ever relied too heavily on one thing, like a single client, for your income? Diversification applies that lesson to your money. Starting early is incredibly powerful, even with small amounts. Carlos began investing $100 monthly at age 25. Maria, equally capable, waited until 35 to start saving $200 monthly. Despite contributing less total money over time, Carlos often ends up significantly ahead by retirement, simply because his money had more years to potentially grow. Time allows small contributions to build substantial results. What's one small expense you could redirect towards investing today? Overcoming inertia is often the biggest hurdle. Fear of loss or confusion about choices can paralyze us. Remember Priya? She started by automating her $50 transfer, making it effortless. This bypasses the temptation to time the market, trying to guess the best moment to buy or sell, a common pitfall that often backfires. Focus on what you can control. Saving consistently, choosing diversified, low-cost investments like broad market index funds, which bundle many stocks or bonds together, and staying the course for the long term. Forget chasing hot stock tips or complex schemes. Leo learned this the hard way. He poured money into a trendy cryptocurrency based on a friend's tip, only to see it plummet. He shifted to a simple plan: automatic monthly investments into a mix of stock and bond index funds. This reliable approach, rooted in discipline, proved far less stressful and more effective over time. The key tools are patience and consistency, not genius-level market predictions. As we see how small, regular investments can multiply over decades, the true power of compounding becomes clear, a journey we explore next. Part 2. The magic of compounding. Consider a quiet force working silently in the background of your finances. It doesn't demand attention or heroic effort, yet it can transform modest, regular savings into remarkable sums over time. This section reveals that force: compound growth. You'll see how starting early, even with small amounts, and letting time do the heavy lifting can build wealth far beyond what seems possible. Real stories will show this power in action, helping you apply it to your own goals. Understanding this concept changes everything. It turns patience into your greatest financial ally. Picture compound growth as a snowball rolling down a snowy hill. At first, it's small and moves slowly, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, growing larger and gaining speed with each turn. Your money works the same way. Early investments earn returns, and then those returns also earn returns. Over years, this creates a powerful multiplying effect. Take Priya, a graphic designer. At age 25, she started setting aside $100 every month into a low-cost index fund, averaging a 7% annual return. She didn't stop, even during tight months. By age 65, her total contributions were just $48,000. Yet, thanks to compounding, her account grew to over $240,000. The money she earned in the later years dwarfed her actual deposits. What small step could you start taking today that might seem insignificant now? Now, contrast Priya with Ben, a teacher. Ben understood the idea, but delayed starting. At age 35, he began investing the same $100 monthly with the same 7% return. By 65, he'd contributed $36,000. His final balance? Around $122,000. Ben ended with roughly half of Priya's total, despite a similar plan, simply because he started 10 years later. The extra decade allowed Priya's money far more time to multiply. This gap shows why starting early matters more than investing large sums later. How much might delaying cost you over your lifetime? The math behind this isn't complex. Imagine you invest $1,000 and earn 7% in year 1. In year 2, you earn 7% on the new total of $170, gaining roughly $75. That extra $5 comes from growth on your previous growth. Over 30 years, this growth on growth becomes the dominant force. A handy tool is the rule of 72. Divide 72 by your expected annual return to estimate how long it takes your money to double. At 7%, it doubles every 10 years. 72 or 710. So Priya's money doubled 4 times between 25 and 65. Does this change how you view small sacrifices now for future gains? Patience is the fuel for compounding. Carlos, a nurse, learned this during a market dip. He kept investing his usual $200 monthly even when headlines predicted disaster. By not pulling out, he bought more shares at lower prices. When the market recovered, his discipline amplified his gains. Compounding thrives on steady contributions and leaving money untouched. Interrupting it, by skipping deposits or cashing out during fear, drastically reduces its power. Think of a young tree. Constantly digging it up to check the roots stunts its growth. What distractions might tempt you away from your long-term plan? Implementing this is straightforward. Begin with whatever amount feels manageable, even $20 weekly. Automate transfers to make consistency effortless. Focus on low-cost options like broad index funds, which spread risk and capture market growth. Then prioritize time over timing. Market fluctuations matter less when you're investing for decades. Review your progress annually without making emotional changes. This simple system, start early, invest regularly, stay patient, harnesses compounding reliably. As we explore different investment options next, remember, the vehicle matters less than the unwavering habit of fueling it. What's one automatic transfer you could set up this week? Part 3. Choosing your money vehicles. Now that you're consistently fueling your investments, the next step is choosing where to put that money. Think of it like selecting the right vehicle for a journey. Some are fast but risky, others steady and reliable. This section breaks down your main options: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and index funds in plain terms. You'll see real examples of how everyday people match these choices to their goals and comfort with risk. By the end, you'll feel equipped to pick the mix that fits your path, turning complexity into clear, confident action. Let's get started. Stocks mean owning a small part of a company. Imagine Lena buys shares in a local coffee chain she loves. If the chain expands, her shares could grow in value. But if it struggles, her investment might shrink. Stocks often offer high growth potential, especially over decades, but they can swing sharply in the short term. How would you react if your investment dropped 20% in a month? This volatility makes them better for long-term goals when you can ride out downturns. Bonds work like loans. Suppose Marco lends money to the government by buying a bond. They pay him interest and return his money later. Bonds provide steady, predictable income with less risk than stocks. However, returns are usually lower, and inflation can erode their value over time. They suit people near retirement or saving for a house down payment in 5 years. What matters more to you right now? Stability or growth potential? Mutual funds pool money from many investors to buy a mix of stocks, bonds, or other assets. A professional manager picks them. Take Omar, who invests in a tech-focused mutual fund. He gets instant diversification without picking individual stocks, but pays higher fees for the manager's expertise. These fees can eat into returns over time. Mutual funds work well if you want hands-off investing, but accept the cost trade-off. Index funds are a type of mutual fund that tracks a market group, like the top 500 U.S. companies. They skip the active manager, keeping fees very low. For instance, Anya invests in an index fund covering hundreds of businesses. She pays almost nothing in fees and benefits from broad market growth. Studies show this simplicity often beats higher-cost options long-term. Index funds fit almost any goal, especially for beginners. If you could only pick one investment for the next 20 years, what would it be? Your choices depend on life stage and risk comfort. Consider 2 cases. Ben, 28, invests 90% in stocks and index funds. He has decades to recover from dips and wants aggressive growth. Now meet Priya, 58. She puts 60% in bonds and 40% in index funds to protect her near-retirement savings while still growing modestly. Both match their vehicles to their timelines. Where do you see yourself in their stories? To apply this, start with 3 steps. First, list your goals and timelines, like retirement in 30 years or a vacation fund in 3. Second, gauge your true risk tolerance. If market drops will panic you, lean toward bonds and index funds. Third, begin simply. A low-cost index fund covers most bases. Add bonds for stability as goals near. This approach removes guesswork. Remember, the best choice isn't the trendiest. It's what lets you sleep well and stay invested. Once your money vehicles are set, you'll face market storms, but a plan built for you makes those bumps easier to handle. Part 4. Staying calm when markets roar. Investments dropping in value can feel like a punch to the gut. You've carefully chosen your money vehicles, but when markets turn wild, logic often flees. This section explores practical ways to keep fear from derailing your plans. You'll discover how everyday investors survived financial storms, why emotional discipline matters more than perfect timing, and simple habits to prevent costly reactions. By the end, you'll have tools to face volatility with steady confidence. Imagine Clara, who invested $500 monthly in index funds. When markets plunged 30% during the pandemic, her portfolio shrank by $15,000. Panic whispered, Sell before it gets worse. But Clara remembered her 20-year retirement horizon. She kept investing monthly, buying more shares at lower prices. Within 18 months, her portfolio not only recovered but grew 25% beyond its pre-crash value. What would your last major financial decision look like if emotion weren't involved? Market swings are like highway traffic, expected but unnerving. Stocks historically take 3 to 5 years to recover from crashes, yet investors who abandon ship during downturns lock in losses and miss rebounds. Ben learned this harshly in 2008. Seeing his $200 portfolio drop to $130, he sold everything and switched to cash. When markets rebounded, his cautious re-entry meant missing 40% of the recovery. Had he held, he'd have regained losses by 2012. Discipline starts before turbulence hits. Establish automatic monthly investments so market noise doesn't alter your actions. This set-and-forget approach leverages dollar-cost averaging, buying more shares when prices dip, fewer when they soar. Review your portfolio quarterly, not daily. Frequent checking magnifies short-term noise. Yuri checks his investments every birthday. This yearly ritual prevents knee-jerk decisions while tracking progress. How might reducing screen time change your financial anxiety? Prepare mentally for downturns. Write a crisis plan when markets are calm. If my portfolio drops 20%, I will rebalance my holdings once per my original strategy. Keep 3 to 6 months' expenses in cash. Knowing essentials are covered reduces panic selling. During the 2022 downturn, Rosa's emergency fund stopped her from liquidating stocks at a loss to cover car repairs. Perspective matters. Markets have recovered from every crash in history. A $10,000 investment in the S&P 500 during 1987's Black Monday crash would be worth over $400,000 today despite 8 recessions along the way. Short-term drops look dramatic on charts, but long-term trends resemble gradual hills, not cliffs. When headlines scream crisis, ask, will this matter in 10 years? Self-awareness prevents overconfidence. If market swings keep you awake, your portfolio might be too aggressive. Lena reduced her stock allocation from 90 to 70% after realizing volatility stressed her. Her returns dipped slightly, but she stopped second-guessing every dip. Does your current investment mix let you rest easy? Storms test every investor's resolve, but history rewards those who hold course. Your plan, crafted during calm days, is the anchor that steadies you. Next, we'll explore how to adjust that plan as life evolves, ensuring it grows with your changing needs and dreams. Chapter 4. Living Rich, Living Free. Part 1. Spending with Purpose. Imagine looking at your bank statement and feeling a warm sense of purpose instead of regret. Every coffee, every purchase, every dollar spent aligns with what makes your life meaningful. This section shows how shifting from mindless spending to intentional choices transforms financial stress into fulfillment. You'll discover simple methods to identify what truly matters to you, practical ways to cut wasteful expenses, and how to fund what brings genuine joy without complex budgets or deprivation. Real people have used these steps to reduce money anxiety and create space for what they love. Let's explore how you can do the same starting today. Many people spend money by default, not design. Social media whispers buy this, while colleagues upgrade cars and neighbors renovate kitchens. Take Ben, a teacher who felt pressured to dine at trendy spots weekly. His credit card debt grew, but his happiness didn't. One evening, he listed activities that actually energized him: hiking, board games with friends, and volunteering at an animal shelter. He realized 70% of his dining expenses funded experiences he didn't even enjoy. What purchases drain your wallet but add little to your life? Intentional spending starts by naming your core values. Try this exercise. Write down 3 moments when you felt deeply fulfilled last year. For Lena, a nurse, they were teaching her niece to bake, reading in her garden, and taking her mother to the ocean. She noticed none involved shopping or expensive outings. Her priorities became family, nature, and learning. She then tracked her spending for 2 weeks, highlighting anything unrelated to those values. The result? She found $200 monthly going toward impulse online buys and unused gym memberships. How might your spending shift if you funded only what lights you up? Distinguishing needs from wants is crucial. Needs include shelter, basic food, healthcare, and essential transportation. Wants encompass everything else: streaming services, luxury items, or daily takeout. Carlos, an engineer, thought he needed a premium coffee every morning until he calculated it cost $1,800 yearly. He bought a quality French press, saved 90% of that expense, and redirected funds to his dream of photography classes. Before purchasing, ask, does this serve a vital purpose or a passing desire? Small mindful pauses prevent big financial drains. Create space for joyful spending. Maya, a graphic designer, loved travel but felt guilty about the cost. After aligning her budget with her values, she canceled unused subscriptions, $45 a month, and cooked dinners instead of ordering delivery, $180 a month. This freed $225 monthly for a travel fund. Within a year, she visited Portugal, a trip filled with memories, not debt. Notice how reducing background noise expenses funds meaningful experiences. What one thing would you love to spend on if you had the resources? Implement the 48-hour rule for non-essential purchases. When tempted by a new gadget or outfit, wait 2 days. Often the urge fades. Raj, a sales manager, used this tactic and avoided $500 in impulse buys monthly. He redirected those savings toward his daughter's education fund. Additionally, automate transfers to savings immediately after payday. This pay-yourself-first approach builds security effortlessly. Next week, we'll explore how automation turns these priorities into consistent habits. For now, consider, if your spending reflected your deepest values, what would change next month? Part 2. Automating your success. Imagine never worrying about paying bills on time or forgetting to save. Picture your money quietly working toward goals while you sleep. This isn't magic. It's the power of automation. By setting simple systems once, you remove daily decisions that drain mental energy. You'll sidestep late fees, grow savings effortlessly, and build wealth through consistency rather than willpower. Like a skilled gardener installing drip irrigation, you're creating conditions where financial health thrives automatically. The best part? It takes less than an hour to establish. Consider Priya, an architect who loved designing homes but hated managing payments. Before automation, she'd forget due dates, incur $40 late fees monthly, and constantly questioned whether she'd saved enough. Her investment days became anxiety-filled sessions scrolling stock apps. After setting up automatic transfers, her $500 emergency fund contribution happens every payday. Bills clear themselves from a dedicated account. Even her retirement investments flow seamlessly into low-cost index funds. It's like hiring a financial assistant who never sleeps, she says. Within a year, her net worth grew 15% without extra effort. What recurring money stress could vanish from your life with this approach? Automation works because it leverages timing and separation. When Carlos, a teacher, received his paycheck, immediate transfers split it into 3 buckets: 50% to bills, 20% to savings, 30% to spending. This invisible budgeting meant he never saw money destined for goals. Behavioral research shows we spend what's visible. By instantly moving funds, we bypass temptation. Start with 2 accounts, one for fixed expenses, rent, utilities, another for discretionary spending. Contact your bank to schedule transfers aligned with payday. For investments, services like Acorns or Vanguard auto invest small amounts weekly. How much could you save if extra money disappeared before you could spend it? The real magic lies in compound growth. Fatima automated $100 monthly into an index fund tracking the S&P 500. Though skeptical at first, she ignored market swings. After 10 years, her $12,000 contribution grew to over $18,000 without ever making an active investment decision. Automation transforms discipline into default. Missed payments, history. Savings gaps, unlikely. Even debt payoff accelerates when extra payments auto-debit monthly. Begin small. Automate 1 bill and 1 savings transfer. Next month, add another. Like training wheels for financial habits, these systems support you until actions become instinct. What single automatic transfer could start building your freedom today? This approach isn't about rigidity. It's about creating space. With money routines automated, Priya now uses mental energy for career growth instead of bill tracking. Carlos volunteers weekends without budget guilt. They've shifted from reactive money managers to proactive life designers. Your next step? Review last month's expenses. Identify 1 fixed cost and 1 savings goal to automate. Call your bank or use apps like Mint. In minutes, you'll join millions who've discovered Wealth isn't built in dramatic leaps, but through quiet, consistent systems working in the background. Part 3. Giving, Gratitude, and Growth. Money systems running smoothly? That freedom creates space for something deeper. This section explores a surprising truth. Generosity and thankfulness transform your money journey, regardless of your bank balance. Discover how small acts of giving, even on a tight budget, spark genuine joy and shift your perspective from scarcity to sufficiency. Learn the simple science-backed practices that build resilience against financial stress and foster a healthier, more positive connection with your money. You'll find easy, actionable ways to weave giving and gratitude into your daily life, unlocking greater purpose and a lasting sense of abundance. Remember Priya and Carlos from earlier? Automation freed their minds from constant money tracking. Priya found herself with extra mental bandwidth. She started noticing local needs. A struggling food bank, a neighbor's fundraiser. Feeling a pull, she decided to donate just $10 monthly to the food bank, an amount automated alongside her savings. The first time she saw the confirmation email, a warm sense of connection washed over her. It wasn't about the size of the gift, it was the act itself. How does shifting a small amount from your automated savings towards giving make you feel? Tomas worked hard as a mechanic. After setting up automatic transfers for his emergency fund, he felt more secure but still anxious about never having enough. Inspired by a podcast, he began jotting down 3 things he was grateful for financially each evening: reliable transport to work, a steady paycheck, even the coffee he enjoyed. This simple habit, taking less than a minute, gradually changed his outlook. He noticed less envy for flashier cars and more appreciation for his own stability. Studies consistently show this. Actively noting what you appreciate rewires your brain, reducing stress and the constant craving for more, making financial challenges feel more manageable. Lena, a part-time librarian, thought significant giving was for others. Her budget felt stretched thin. Then she volunteered 2 hours monthly at a community garden, contributing time instead of money. Digging in the soil, sharing produce with neighbors, these actions gave her a profound sense of purpose and community belonging she hadn't found in shopping. She realized generosity isn't measured in dollars, but in intention. Her feeling of financial constraint eased, replaced by a sense of having enough to share. What non-monetary resource, time, skill, attention could you offer? These practices cultivate an abundance mindset. When you give even a little, you challenge the fear of scarcity. You declare, "I have enough to share." Gratitude anchors you in the present sufficiency, reducing impulsive spending fueled by dissatisfaction. This isn't about ignoring goals, it's about building inner resilience. Financial setbacks feel less catastrophic when you practice appreciating what remains. Start small. Automate a $5 weekly donation to a cause you value, or keep a gratitude note on your phone for daily financial wins, big or small. The key is consistency, not scale. Witnessing the impact of their contributions, whether through money, time, or simple appreciation, Priya, Tomas, and Lena found their relationship with money softening. Budgeting felt less like deprivation and more like aligning resources with values. This shift fosters resilience. Gratitude helps weather financial storms, and giving connects you to something larger than your own balance sheet. How might acknowledging your current financial sufficiency change your approach to tomorrow's goals? Your financial story keeps evolving, shaped not just by what you earn and save, but profoundly by how you give and appreciate. Part 4. Your money story continues. Your financial journey doesn't end here. It's a living narrative that grows richer with each choice you make. Consider Rohan, who once struggled with credit card debt. After automating his savings and aligning spending with his love for hiking rather than impulse buys, he built an emergency fund. Now he faces a career shift and wonders how to adapt. Like Rohan, you'll encounter plot twists, market shifts, family changes, or unexpected opportunities. This section explores how to review your progress, adjust goals with life seasons, and maintain momentum. You'll discover practical ways to keep your money story vibrant through every chapter. Reflect on how far you've come. Clara tracked her net worth annually and was amazed to see how small, consistent investments grew during market dips. She celebrated by framing her first budget spreadsheet, a symbol of her discipline. What financial milestone once felt impossible that you've now achieved? Regular reflection turns experiences into wisdom. When Diego lost his job, he reviewed past decisions and realized his automated savings cushion gave him breathing room. This awareness helped him pivot into freelance work without panic. Goals naturally evolve as life does. After Fatima paid off student loans, she redirected funds toward opening a bakery. Her debt freedom chapter became a business ownership chapter. What goal no longer fits your current priorities? Regular check-ins ensure your money serves your present values, not outdated ambitions. Omar learned this when his newborn arrived. He adjusted his aggressive investment strategy to build a more accessible college fund, proving flexibility beats rigid plans. Embrace lifelong learning without overwhelm. Ben set quarterly money dates to skim financial newsletters and adjust his automated transfers. When interest rates rose, he easily shifted extra cash to high-yield savings. Simple habits like this keep you responsive. How could 15 minutes monthly prevent future financial stress? Lena combined learning with community by joining an investment club, turning complex topics into shared discovery. Resilience grows from your foundation. When Anya's medical emergency struck, her gratitude practice helped her focus on available resources rather than scarcity. She negotiated payment plans using skills honed during debt repayment years earlier. Tough times test systems. Automated savings, mindful spending, and giving create shock absorbers. Kieran volunteered during a market downturn, gaining perspective that prevented rash portfolio changes. Your story gains depth through reinvention. Eva retired early, but found purpose managing microloans, using her financial skills to empower others. Like Eva, you might discover money's role expands beyond personal security to community impact. What legacy could your financial habits create? Every small choice, a resisted impulse buy, an automated transfer, writes tomorrow's paragraph. Keep your narrative alive by honoring progress, welcoming change, and trusting your ability to write the next page.